And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Gamer Race Community Cup for Valorant. The quarterfinal stages are pretty much at the close here almost, but we still have a couple more games to go with Dieversity eSports going up against the side of Asterisk. For the first initial one, it's going to be your boy Aggressive with Salty on my side, giving you all the action here for today. And honestly speaking, I'm excited for this one, Salty, because this entire game has the chance of going to all three goddamn maps. Because knowing Dieversity and, of course, knowing how good Asterisk are as a team and how much their team is built upon the raw fundamentals of this new meta of Valorant, Dieversity will be tested down to the core.
For sure, I think, and I want that to happen because I think the last time we saw each of these teams, they really made themselves felt like they're not here to just joke around or just have fun. They're here to actually
Absolutely.
compete, and we've seen that happen. Asterisk, I think they still might have that edge. I'm not sure with the Diversity being a little on the inexperienced side, but again, we both know that there are players who can actually take the game away from them. So I want to know whose day it is and who's actually working on the right side of the bed. Let's just find out. I mean, but the second game is actually going to be very interesting because I think it's going to be a rematch. So I am interested to find out what happens today.
Yeah, Team EXO versus Zero Frags is going to be another very interesting one that we have to see. But at the same time, it all will really start and depend upon whether or not the members of Dieversity will really be able to shut down Asterisk here. Because Asterisk as a team, we've already talked about this, that they're a squad that can easily reign supreme throughout this tournament just because they have that much more structured playstyle. They have very specific setups on the different maps that they utilize and they never stray away from it. And if you want to get that huge chunk of the prize pool, because ladies and gentlemen, don't forget there is no third place position. You need to get yourself to that grand final stage if you want anything from this tournament.
Yeah. You have to go to the grand finals. If you win the competition, you get 2 lakh rupees. If you end up runners up, you win 1 lakh, and that is a 3 lakh prize pool right there. Nothing for the MVP, nothing for the third place, and I think this is the right way to actually go about it. Because see, when you play a team game and you actually play to win, you should always be focusing on that team trophy, not just your individual awards. Moving on, of course, look at the format. Single elimination qualifiers were done already till the 28th of August. Playoffs have been going on, ladies and gentlemen, where we are seeing 2 best of 3 matches every single day. But the upper bracket journey keep going on while we also get to see a little bit of those lower bracket journeys. There will be that little bit of cushion, but then again, you know it. You lose 2 back-to-back games and you are out of the competition. But if you actually win, you go to the grand finals, and which happened 5th of September. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're interested in. I mean, look at that map pool again, not extremely different from what we've seen so far. Haven, Lotus, Bind, the 3 maps that teams like to play. The Trinity, I believe, which will be the default this entire season. We start things off on Haven, which has been picked by Dieversity eSports. So it does feel like they have themselves that composition, they have themselves the strategy set, which should technically help them. I mean, when you start off a best of 3 with your map pick where you are comfortable, especially if it's like a very niche map like Haven, I believe Dieversity eSports will be thinking they are on the advantageous side for sure.
I don't really feel that way though, Salty, because I don't know if you remember or not, but during that qualifier stages, the members of Asterisk, they had a very specific composition that they utilized on the map of Haven too. They had that double controller setup, the new meta setup on the map of Haven, which worked wonders for them. And unless you play against this meta setup, and if you don't know how its inner working really works out, it's gonna be a very difficult map for you to play, especially with the Viper just creating those pockets that you can just walk into for free and your opponents can't really fight against you. These are going to be very difficult times for the members of Dieversity if and only if they don't have a proper read on what the members of Asterisk are trying to do, because this attack side for Haven will be very difficult. Generally, the main reason why Viper is so strong on this map and what teams have started to figure out is normally what happens when you're trying to walk into a short or somewhere like C long, if you have that Viper wall set up, you can cut the entire site in half, and you can stop a lot of the players from gaining active amounts of information on C and also towards A. You have that wall to cut off the entry point that players can see through from A long, and also just freely walk into the cubby of A short and then take the engagement in your own accord, where the defenders are constantly forced to be like, hey, I need to actively push out and make sure that there's no lurkers walking into these power positions, because if they start to get into these power spots, you as a defender are just a lot more claustrophobic. You don't have as much room to move, and you can't really make those decisive decisions that, hey, I can go in for a rotation onto the A side or the C side to help my teammates. And that's how players just get isolated. Mid control is going to be so crucial coming in from the members of Dieversity, and I really do hope that they understand it, because there's no simplicity in the overall setup for Asterisk. You can't just rely upon the years of experience that you have playing this game in the rank setting or even in your scrims, because this entire set play is very different from how Haven is generally played.
We'll find out how the compositions looks like, how the compositions work out. I'm actually dying to find out what agents are we playing tonight or today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still waiting for my friend Mr. Rangitan to come into the picture, though. Do you remember him?
Ah, yes, your favorite co-caster from yesterday, right? Just because you replaced me because I wasn't here.
Nah, he's not my favorite co-caster. I think he's yet to learn skills of casting. I think I would still prefer aggressive beside me, because that eases a lot of work from my shoulders. But never mind, never mind. I think I actually have something better. I think I'll bring the better co-caster out today.
Yeah. And if you guys want something better here coming in for your gaming setups, make sure to check out all the links down below in the description, and also the pinned comment on the side here, ladies and gentlemen, because in the celebration of the Intel Gamer Days, you can grab yourself an Intel Core Power Gaming laptop starting at just 50,990 INR on Flipkart till the 7th of September. And of course, you can get a no cost EMI on select models with select bank cards, as well as seemingly this is gonna be a snake coming in this time around. Poor old buddy Orangutan is gonna be a little bit of a jealous boy soon.
Yeah, I mean, see, he is a very sweet kid. He does not bite unless and until he sees a viper on the grounds. He loves the viper. He loves the snake bites as well. So I guess since it's a map of Haven, I thought that why not just show him the gameplay if we do get to see the viper. But I'm still not sure. He does know how to cast though. I'm still teaching Orangutan how to cast, but this man does have some relative skill sets. Can do a little bit of color here and there.
We're gonna be seeing that one for sure later on when the match ends, on whether or not your friend Viper here is gonna have its fun times. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, as we were talking about the amazing deals that you could have had on Flipkart, make sure to check out the Asus ROG Strix G16, available at a discounted price there. It has an Intel Core i7 14th Gen processor and an RTX 5050 GPU. Plus, in addition, it's got that 240 Hz monitor that we all been wanting to get ourselves that edge in towards the server. And if you want to play like the pros here in front of your screens, having that 240 Hz display is going to be crucial to hit those crispy one taps as well. In addition, on Flipkart, you can also build your dream setup as well by doing the dream setup challenge. And Flipkart, if you follow all of the rules in specific, again, everything in the pinned comment and of course in the links in the description below, make sure to check it out. Flipkart will give you your entire dream setup for free if you wishlist it out properly, and of course if you are the lucky winner that is selected. But as you can already tell from the entire screens here and for the agent selection, it's the same exact setup. They're going for the double controller, they're picking up on the Sova, and the Neon is present to try and break through those lines and give you that extra bit of space. I would have liked to see maybe a Euro getting picked up instead for this overall composition, but that's completely fine, because regardless of the situation, if you know how to play the Neon well, even without those flashes, you can make those entries happen.
Through that, Diversity going ahead with that double initiative setup, I think should really work well. You will be able to always deny the neon if the breach flashes are timed well. The neon relies on speed, and the only way you can, I believe, counter speed is just being right on the timing. And when you have utility like the breach flashes, which can completely blind the neon upon entry, I think that can be a way to absolutely nullify the opposition, and having two initiators will always help you, one with the information, one with the flashes. But I like the setup coming in from Asterisk. I think it's a much more niche setup. It's a much more set setup for their strategies and for the way they play, and we've seen that they are successful on it, so I'm not even considering that there is going to be any bit of doubt. But ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the first match of Intel Gamer Days tonight. It is going to be Dieversity eSports versus Asterisk, with Asterisk being on the attacking side of things. Where do they push up from will be the question. Aggressive, but who do you think takes away the first map?
It's all really going to be dependent on how these teams are really going to be playing. Whether or not the first initial Soch are going to be counting here. Som is going to be the first one to take that entry, but beautiful paranoia coming in from F-Noob. Player on C-Long, maybe a little bit too lackluster when it came down to that hit here. Players in Garage went in a bit too early. John's not going to be in, up, and present to try and take this hit for themselves. One tap got into his back line, and maybe a bit more of a rush setup. It's going to be quite the problem for them as Risen. He gets a free kill over from the sideline. They're going to be able to make that rotation call over in towards A, understanding that, hey, if the breach, went in for such a push, then A side will be completely ripe for the picking. They do get the plan down possibly for themselves, but his teammate not really in the best of positions to try and take this one away. He wasn't really expecting that fight. It's going to be Little Boy who does get the kill, but immediately he needs to run on away. Isolated on an island, his shot's just not connecting. And Dieversity, they take the first round for themselves. Arguably, this is pretty much what happens every single time for the members of Asterisk. That pistol round, yeah, it still needs a lot more. But then again, Dieversity as a team, they really did do wonders in that particular round, playing for those trades. They were not really the ones to shy away from any of these fights. And honestly speaking, Risen, we should have expected this to happen, that the rotations would have been in that early on here. Little Boy did his best to really give that space to Risen, but doesn't really matter for them here, as Dieversity now looking to be that squad that you can always rely upon in so many of these rounds. So for now, Som is going to be the first one to take this fight here from his own side. As the orb now collected, Dieversity need to work up a little bit of a challenge here. One tap God, good for a kill. Yash is going to be able to find things out, but immediately gets traded. The weapon disparity really showcased here from their side. Panda's going to be able to find a second. It's going to be F-Noob with the last, and Panda just keeps on giving in the taps. And as you can see, the player camps are also in front of your screens too, ladies and gentlemen. So, and collected here. You don't want to be risking much when you're on the server. And for the members of Asterisk, knowing them, they probably do have an Intel Core powered system. And if you want one for yourself, be sure to check out Flipkart, ladies and gentlemen, because of the amazing discounts and deals that you have down there. But for the members of Asterisk, no discounts when it comes down to their overall weapon security, because they have opted to go in for the full buys. Bankruptcy could be on the cards for them if they're not careful, because this round will be so difficult for them to find. And it seems as though the members of Dieversity, they do have a new player joining into their roster with Romeo coming in. So that's going to be a new taste for the entire team. Whether or not this duelist is going to have the same amount of value, it's going to be a tough call to find. As for them, slow and steady wins the race as One Tap God just waiting for the engagement and the fight here. It's going to be Little Boy who gets that first initial kill. Already the execute does come through. Paranoia comes in, stopping the reach of One Tap God from taking this initial fight here. It taking things slow. Immediate run away from the opposite side. This one tap guard now looking for the engagement, flash in hand, but it's not going to be the thing that they would have wanted. One tap guard does get the kill. The timing is perfect, and Caramel not able to find that kill on his own end. Down over to a 4v4 situation. They understand they need to be a little bit more aggressive towards the side of defender spawn. Smoke's already utilized, just sitting inside. They're going to be able to find the double kill, and this is what they needed. No flashes, no nothing to try and break out of this smoke. And it's all about holding on to this side. As soon as they take that entry, it is going to be close to close to impossible, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, to even break through these double barrier smokes, because even if the Viper smoke is no longer there, you need something to travel from inside of the smoke to give you that information that the smoke is now fully cleared out. You can't just rush in. Spams will be your best friend. You need to pray to the gods that you get at least 1 or 2 kills, because you can already tell that this is how Asterisk will be playing. They want to get into that post-plant situation, because as soon as those post-plants roll in, that's where the team will really be able to take away these rounds from the members of Dieversity. But if Dieversity are able to stop them from taking the side initially, and they have a lot of the players ready to go in for a retake before they get into their post-plant setup, there isn't a world where the members of Asterisk, of Asterisk are going to be able to take a win against them. Dieversity now, though, they need to try and take a little bit more map control away from them. Looking at the minimap already, ladies and gents, you can tell that there isn't really much of map control being established by them. They do have Romeo holding onto the C-long sideline just in case anyone does peek here with an operator, but even then, one player alone can't really hold out the entire map. They don't really have the info that they would have wanted, and this is where this composition really shines its brightest. This little boy utilizing the Viper wall to give them a lot of space here from these different sidelines. Is Romeo also giving up the entirety of that angle? No one's playing towards garage. A side only has 1 player present, Panda. He's playing a very risky game here. If he wants to hold onto this angle, it's not going to be that simple for him. The breed stun now coming through to stop the Neon from taking a very fast and heavy rush. Panda's position's already spotted, and Panda with a pre-fire, he's going to be able to shut down 2, and one after the other. They keep on following the members of Dieversity. They turn things around, and it all just starts based upon one. Panda with a perfectly timed out spray fire. He's going to be able to take out 2 players, and if those 2 players did not fall, they would have had this round. But this is just so absolutely unfortunate. The fact that those 2 players did die just meant that the trades were not going to be going in their favor whatsoever. Yash, yeah, he did get a kill, but good God, Panda. Some of these rounds are just absolutely criminal.
I mean, I understand how they were actually trying to lure Dieversity, or rather Asterisk, into a trap. The way the trap was set up onto that A side was beautiful. But now you've got to imagine, what can Asterisk do to try and maybe work their way around? Will they be able to divert their attention, maybe set up a fake taunt towards the A side and try and just sneak plant their way into A side, or possibly towards B? I think all of these callouts will have to be made, because as long as your attacking Dieversity stays, I think there goes your chance of getting as many rounds as you possibly can. On your defensive side, you can't really do anything, stuff. On your defensive side, majority of it is just set play. You have to react to the opposition. But being on the attacking side, Asterisk has a chance to set up that lead, and if not the lead, at least closing the gap. And this is where I think Dieversity eSports, they're just running away with it.
Absolutely. This is where this world's really gonna be turning into an absolute, how do you put it, an absolute chaos, because the members of Dieversity have really been getting, I'm not gonna say lucky, I would say they're having the stars align for them in a lot of these rounds, especially in that last particular round. The fact that Panda got 2 kills, even though he got caught by the recon bolt, mind you, they played it well. Like, the way that the execution really panned out, I didn't see how Asterisk were going to be losing there unless something really bad happens. And the fact that Panda got a double kill through the smoke, even though he was caught out by the recon bolt, was pretty much that final nail in the coffin, right? So even if your players do make that entry from A short, you lost from A long, you still lost out on two players coming in through short. It's stuff like this that will just allow your team to take that victory, and I'm pretty sure that the members of Asterisk, they are not happy about that one whatsoever. A pause should be coming in soon if they do lose this round here in particular as well, because the team's just not making a lot of big mistakes. They played the round out well, but sometimes in Valorant, doesn't matter if you play the game perfectly from the start till the very finish. If your opponent just gets those two lucky shots, or it's just his day, then there's not really much that you can do to bring yourself back in towards the game, or at least the round in particular.
Yeah, I was just waiting for the game to resume again because I feel like this is, or rather, this is supposed to be a very closely fought contest, ladies and gentlemen. It won't be one-sided. That is my promise to you. This both the sides got amazing, amazing talents, loads of experience as well. It's just about how well they can execute their bit because both the sides have their strength. We've seen Asterisk kind of falling into the trap of Dieversity eSports so far, but I think one of the reasons why that is happening is also because of the composition. I feel like Asterisk is not playing according to the composition that they've played so far. Their quickness is kind of also becoming their weakness, something which I had discussed, but I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about it?
Yeah. In a lot of ways, Dieversity is one of those teams that I would say likes to go in for those much more aggressive plays, but I do believe with one of their subs coming in into the roster for today, it's going to be a little bit more of a different story here, because Romeo is going to be the one to step in and fill in those shoes of that Jet. We don't know the playstyle coming in from Romeo either, because this Jet could be very passive. He could be a lot more aggressive. There's like big shoes to fill coming in from his side. So whether or not they really do find a lot of value in this particular game will really depend on whether or not the Jet does have that synergy in his arsenal to play with one tap god in that very nature. And for these last couple of rounds, he hasn't really been tested much. He's been gotten just like what, maybe one or two chances to fight his opposition, because generally as soon as Asterisk sniff him out, they tend to stray away from that Jet. And for Asterisk, they need to get at the bare minimum of 5 rounds to 4 rounds for themselves, and then they're going to be absolutely fine on this defensive side, because knowing how strong a double controller setup is on the defense, it's generally very hard on the attack, because you need to get yourself into the site, and then when you set up for that post plan, that's when this double controller setup really comes on.
Let's find out. I mean, I'm still waiting for the game to resume again, ladies and gentlemen. Apart from that, aggressive, what's up? How are we doing? I really miss those days where there used to be teams known as Team Dishwasher.
Hey, Team Dishwasher was one of our favorites from back in the good old days of the esports club. But hey, there are some things that you miss and some things that you don't, and hopefully you guys are not going to be missing out on the links down below in the description, because in the celebration of the Intel Gamer Days, ladies and gentlemen, you can grab yourself an Intel Core Power Gaming laptop starting at just 50,990 INR on Flipkart till the 7th of September. And of course, you can get a no-cost EMI on select models with select bank cards as well. And hey, if you want our suggestions for it, make sure to get the Asus ROG Strix G16 available at that discounted price on Flipkart. It has an Intel Core i7 14th Gen processor with an RTX 5050 GPU, plus an additional 240 Hz display, ladies and gentlemen. If you want any of that, make sure to check out the links down below, because good God, if you don't take these deals, they're going to be going away for the entire year, and they may not be coming back until next year. Plus, if you want to win gaming products of up to 150,000 INR, make sure to check out the Build Your Dream Setup Challenge by Flipkart as well. You'll see all the rule sets. I'm not going to be reading through all of them. There's a bunch of different things that you need to do to try and get this. So make sure to check out the links down below in the description and also the pinned comment. And it's going to be all in the celebration of the Intel Gamer Days. So up till the 7th of September, this is going to be available. Make sure to go through all of the steps, wishlist your dream setup, And then, of course, tag out 5 of your friends on WhatsApp. And Flipkart, if you're lucky, will be choosing you to win out on that entire laptop, and of course that dream setup for yourself. Make sure that it is 3 items, of course, because if it's not 3 items, then you will not be eligible for that entry. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the game is about to begin for their squad. And this is how I would say the members of Asterisk have me a little bit curious on what they're going to do next, because I do believe that the coach is going to give them a little bit of choice words here to really build upon their overall set plays. But in that last particular round, you could tell that the team just had that proper idea. And like, I will keep on saying this because Asterisk, I don't think they made any mistake in that last particular round. They had the proper set play in mind. They even baited out a lot of the utility coming in from the members of Dieversity. But what really went wrong for them was just the shots that came in. You can tell that the Sova just got those 2 kills over onto the players from A short because of a perfectly well played out smoke, and that free fire being able to find 2 just brought back too many memories. But you can tell that starting from the very beginning, the members of Dieversity, they've been slipping in through the cracks of a lot of these setups, and Asterisk just not really looking to be a team that can easily turn things around. But for now, take it slow and take it steady. That's going to be the name of the game for them. It's Asterisk. They're still heating things up for themselves, as I do believe that my boy Salty is now back. So hopefully he's bringing in his buddy Orangutan or something to help me out here on the desk. But technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen, will be the name of the game sometimes here in our region. But hopefully he's going to be back here shortly for that. And for the players as well, I'm hoping that they're going to be able to get themselves back in towards the server, and hopefully there's no other technical difficulties coming in from their end. But the voices in my head are telling me already from the side of production that there's 30 seconds left for the players to really get themselves back in towards the game here. I'm pleasantly surprised to say that Dieversity as a team, I wasn't really expecting this level of gameplay to come out from them for these first initial couple of rounds. I thought that they wouldn't know how to deal with this overall Viper setup, but I do believe that one of the biggest problems of this setup is really starting to show here, because yes, the Neon does allow you to beat a lot of the timings and catch your opponents off guard, but if your opponents are ready for that, if they understand that, hey, the Neon's going to be a huge problem for us to deal with, that is when you'll start to figure out that, hey, yeah, we can get some value out of this Neon, but we don't really have a lot to push through the active amounts of smokes that we have just placed across the entire map. They're going to face that issue soon, because Dieversity as a team, they've already gotten 3 rounds for themselves. Romeo's back up on top here with this operator in hand. He still hasn't really gotten a chance to showcase his entire skill set just yet. He's just been falling asleep on the operator. Knowing Asterisk, I don't really see a universe where they're going to keep on doing this. Karamo now waiting here on the sidelines. He wants to try and find a hit for himself, as for now, Som waiting for the fight. One tap got knee deep in enemy territory. Romeo is going to give the backup that was required. Bojan, he's going to be able to find that kill over onto one. Som going in for the spray, still alive and kicking to keep the shots going for his team. Bojan, it's just not going to happen. F-Noob's going to be present and ready to immediately go in for that kill. The members of Asterisk just are not able to mount a proper setup for themselves. They keep on dying out in more situations than one. Jumps down over from the side. Risset's going to be able to find that kill. Does have the Into the Shadows to give him an instant rotation in towards the A side and a free plan to play for. And maybe, just maybe, this could be the round win that the members of Asterisk need to stabilize and build upon a little bit of a set play for themselves. 2 different positions now being taken here as Risen. He's trying to make the perfect read over from the sides. The short position given away, but Panda turns around, but Risen doesn't really find the headshot that he needs, and instead it's going to be an instant flick to the head to finish everything off as Dieversity, they take another round for themselves. 4-1 on the scorecards, while Asterisk, they have the weapons now to go in for a buy. They're forced onto another save, and a 4-1 score might cause all these points.
Seems like the Dieversity eSports, they're just not letting their youth go away in spite of being in constant pressure from Asterisk, to be honest. No matter what they're doing, it just seems like they constantly find a way to just win their rounds, win their trade, and force these timeouts onto Asterisk. And to be honest, it is not going to be the interruptions which will stop Dieversity at this point. I feel like it will only halt the momentum build up for Asterisk. Antidote might try and, put his team through some sort of recomposition measure or a little bit of motivation here and there, but it can only work when your team sticks together and gets those trades in, which I feel like is not currently happening. Aggressive.
And that's like the reality of the situation now, isn't it? In these lower bracket stages, this is gonna be one of those real problems that the players have to realize that you don't really have those safety nets anymore to really. And knowing how these games have been
This
going, it's gonna be risky. As Romeo a little bit too knee deep on the angle. He's gonna be the first one to get caught out here. A beautiful.
it was good. It certainly was good. But now look at this. I mean, Panda from the backlines can certainly do a little bit of damage. Look at this. Caramel, he finds Som as well. Seaside has been compromised. Lit boy. He finds a kill for himself, and Asterisk finally, through this seaside aggression, has managed to land all the bodies, and it's just one man, Panda, who is still alive now. He can try all he wants to, but the max that he can actually get out of this is possibly a few exit kills, and he finds one onto a Lit boy. That does encourage Panda a little bit. The alarm bot strikes, and now, of course, tap shots from Ryzen as well as Kibon. Both of them kind of chew up, tag team their way onto Panda's death, and it means Asterisk to win their second round of the map. 4-2 is not that considering now you've got the economy under a little bit of control. If you do manage to win this round after that, I think you would be in a position where the game is just in your hands.
I need to see where they're gonna go with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of Dieversity looking to be the squad that can try to win this. They still have a lot to say in these particular rounds. They've already got the reads here. Good utility usage overall coming through from the members of Asterisk. The Hunters really now utilized to give them a tiny bit more space. Possibly a kill could be happening as well for them. As Bo Johns tries to go in for the head, but Panda instead, he's going to have a little bit more of a better Hunter's Fury, shutting down Risen. This is going to be the overall setup, completely broken through from the members of Dieversity here. And now they're going to be able to go in for this retake a little bit, as they are going to be worried about getting caught by any of the stray bits of utility that will be coming in from their opposition. But even then, this overall retake spot is not going to be that easy to break into, especially with the Killjoy lockdown, giving them so much space here to try and play for. Caramel, good for one more kill. Shock Darts reigning supreme. They're going to be able to catch out F-Noob here. And that's going to be the smoke now being taken off of the board. Little boy just needs to hold inside of the side and hopefully just not die. This Viper Spit giving them all the space that they need. Ample amounts of areas to try and play for. A couple of the stray bullets going around everywhere. And Asterisk just showcasing why this Viper composition is so strong and potent. As soon as you get that spike mine down, the only way Dieversity win is to stop them from entering the site. Because as soon as they do, that is when this team is just not going to be able to find value. And Asterisk, knowing this, went all out for this particular round because, of course, Risen falling flat on his back meant that they didn't really have those extra bits of smoke to really play for. And Dieversity, understanding that, hey, maybe we just need to go in for this entry quickly and they're not going to be able to get into those post-plant setups. But no, that wasn't really the case because Dieversity, as a team, they lost out on too many of their players and lost out on too much of the map control, allowing Asterisk to get into those comfortable spots and take them out one by one.
I like the mentality coming in from Asterisk, right? Committing two ultimates in that round itself. First, the Killjoy ultimate, and then of course the Viper spit. The lockdown was just to buy themselves time, just to get themselves a sight for it. And then of course the Viper spit was to completely shut it down. Caramel point the first kill for himself. Asterisk. They are on the lead for sure because this A side has been broken open. No! All by himself, couldn't really hold on to that position, but Yash is gonna chase him out. Economy is at disarray for Dieversity eSports as Asterisk. They mount a comeback 4-4 the scoreline, and I like it. They were losing rounds constantly, but it seems like all of a sudden they've just gotten their groove back. Shots are connecting, trades are coming off, but the most important thing which I feel Asterisk has done so far is to just try and be variable in their attacks, just be as unpredictable as they possibly can, and the utility usage in composition with each other is also nigh perfect. Yash with the electrical fingers this time though will try to push up on towards the A side. He's quite knee deep into that territory. Paranoid comes in and he falls as a Romeo finds Yash. Caramel will try and take a couple of shots. Noob out there on towards the A wing.
Okay.
Spike will get planted as shots do keep coming through trades flow. But at the end, it's a 3v4. Dieversity have the advantage. Aggressive.
They do have space though. This is perfect for them. The area of the ceiling side wraps, the smokes still here. Risen, perfect for the spam. He's gonna be able to find one more kill, but he tries to run away in an angle that is not really his. They do fall. Kibo John's gonna be able to find another one though, and it's all up to Little Boy to be on a perfect position. Since Kibo John's already does have the Hunter's Fury once more to really give him the edge here. The timing is he has all the plays in the entire world and all the time to really play for us. Little Boy comes in from the back to go in for the perfect backstab as the members of Asterisk, they now are the ones in the lead. It's all really coming post plan. The team just needs to get themselves into the side because as soon as they do completely new and different, they've already fulfilled their quota, and now every single round that they get after this is just extra to add on to the wound of Dieversity, because knowing what's going to happen on that defensive side, say that Dieversity, I lost this man because you couldn't stop them from getting that.
It's almost like a pendulum, this game, to be honest, because at one time it was swinging on towards the favor of Dieversity, but now look at this. Ryzen, his ultimate has been activated and he's found himself real estate on towards that heaven side. Now will try and hold on to this position. One tap god for him. This is a fight and a half. Two players right in front of him. Does not miss the first shot, wants to go away from it. Noob and Som do stitch together 2 kills, but that's all she wrote for Dieversity. 6th round on board for Asterisk and 5 rounds back to back. This is a comeback. This is a good comeback, to be honest. Dieversity, eSports, all of a sudden those breaks, it seems like it's kind of halted their towards a victory. I'm not sure what's going to find it back. They need that hero movement, and I think one player who can act that might just be One Tap God and Romeo. Even Som, as a matter of fact, is a player who's supposed to be on the upward curve of that leaderboard, but hasn't really found success tonight. Romeo
chickens before they had just yet. Still a chance as
Absolutely.
Romeo is going to be the contact for this fight. And honestly, Salty, there's a pretty good chance in this world where he's going to be able to fight it, but never got Yash. He just did a slap to the face. Like, you know that feeling when your mom just takes a slipper and slaps you with it? That's kind of how it felt like.
I mean, yeah, but you didn't really have to give me
Yes, you've never been disciplined as a child. Never mind.
Oh, no, bro. You're so wrong, man. You're so wrong. Be in my shoes, brother. You wish. But nonetheless, all of a sudden, I thought that this round was just purely different. It was just different, so different. with the way they were hitting the shots. One tap god, like I said, they needed the hero performance. They needed that shining star. This man just delivered. All 3 kills, extremely efficient, especially with the bullets, especially with the accuracy, especially with the way he's connecting those heads. Brilliantly done, but you need that consistency. Otherwise, Asterisk will once again find a chink in your armor and will try and hurt you.
Absolutely. These last couple of rounds really did boil down to one thing and one thing only. Dieversity taking map control away from Asterisk. Remember what I was saying, as long as map control is going to be a problem for them, it's going to be difficult to say the very least. Rolling Thunder now utilized, Panda stuck in a corner, but poor old Panda, he just ran through a snake bite, so he was now vulnerable. That Shorty is even more dangerous than it generally is. If he didn't get caught out by the snake bite, there was a world where he's actually able to get this kill up against Little Boy. The Shorty was just not going to be able to find much value there. Rolling Thunder already utilized early on here, and One Tap God's just not going to be able to find one more kill for his team. Down over to a 4v3 situation, and they have to play for the retake. But with Killjoy lockdowns coming in from either side, the defenders, they can't really go in for such a hit like this.
Talking about the attackers right now, look at that. They've got the sight for themselves, and Storm! He was crucial in order to get this retake. One tap God still finds a Little Boy, but Storm's dead over there, I think, kind of diminishes their chances. One tap God does fall down. It's a quadra for this lad. But still, a 1v5 can be on the path, but it's not. Fine success. Asterisk do manage to survive. A heroic effort from One Tap God has been nullified by this scoreline, and what an effort did we just witness. Aggressive.
That was a little bit too close for comfort. I'm shaking in my boots for that one because the team, they pulled off a miracle here in more ways than one. These kind of set plays and setups don't happen often, but when it does, ladies and gentlemen, for a fact that each and every one of these players, they are going the distance for it. But then again, can't count your chickens before they hatch just yet, because the members of Asterisk, yes, they have gotten the round lead for themselves. A 2-round lead, mind you, with the double controller setup on the attack side. Now is where the real fun end games will begin, to see whether or not Dieversity will really be the ones to turn things around for their side from here on out. Maybe they have a couple of set plays and strategies in mind that they can utilize to go up against this double controller setup, but after what happened in that last round, this is going to be very difficult to try and get. It's all dependent on one thing: Dieversity. Understanding your limitations, and also understanding where this Viper could be playing, because for the members of Asterisk, they don't need to play that aggressive often for a bunker strat, because of how well this Viper can go onto any of these sites.
The Viper wall at this time can actually be crucial. Panda does have the reveal. The Viper wall, will it get activated right now? I'm not sure. Camel! Underestimated it a little bit. The smokes from the Asterisk can possibly try and hold on to it a little more longer, but Dieversity eSports extremely slow in their approaches. 3 players run towards that A side. Look at that train of thoughts. But do they hesitate? They do smoke off the A corridor, expecting Team Asterisk to react, but it seems like they read them like an open book. 3 players in garage. The paranoia comes through. They know this is a re-hit, which means Rising. He gets 3 frags all by himself. Little Boy gets another one. F-Noob falls as well as Asterisk. They read Dieversity like an open book. Dieversity tried their best. They possibly could have planted on towards that A side and they would have found that empty, but it seems like they read it, they overread it, overcomplicated it, and that resulted in their demise.
Yeah, that overcomplication for the overall setup was the problem for them. But do you know what's not really complicated, ladies and gentlemen? The link's down below in the description, and also the one in the pinned comment. Make sure to check it out. Check out Flipkart to get discounted Intel Core powered gaming laptop. If you don't want to miss out on any of that action, make sure to check it out today, because the offer is going to be expiring on the 7th of September. But jumping on back into the game here, you can tell the members of Asterisk, they just have that perfect read on the map. On this defensive side, this team just looks to be almost indestructible, but winning out on the pistol round on the one after that doesn't really mean that you're best of spots just yet. Those buy rounds are where they're weak to shine. As one by one, they get these rounds and a flawless one comes through for them. As Dieversity, they want done and over with as quickly as they possibly could, but now is where the real problem arise. As yeah, you do have the better weapons, but considering that you have to break through two different lines of smoke, how will you this entry? Because you need the first one to go in, and you as a team, if you buy a snake bite, good God, you're not going to be able to go into anything for free.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Asterisk on that comeback from 4-1 to 9-5. I think this has been a comeback and a half from this team, and the way they recovered their composure was through individual brilliance. I think now all of a sudden the entire team is playing well, but you can't give it away to One Tap God, or just can't not credit One Tap God for that comeback, because those two rounds back to back, 3-kill, the triple kill and the quadra, I think that completely changed the shape of what we are witnessing so far. Once again, Dieversity, a 3-man lineup trying to move past the A defenses. Spike has been dropped in the corridor, another one of the walls. It seems like this isn't really going to be a long affair.
Oh my God, what is that post for the Sova? Wait, I'm not the only one who saw that, right? Wait, it's salty. Give that to me. Did you see what the Sova's post was?
Yeah, of course. I did.
Man, to the gods. And honestly, Dieversity, you guys might do so. It's good God. That post was something I didn't really expect. Give it to Valorant to have one of those weirdest ragdolls. But for Dieversity now.
I don't want Valorant turn into a meme game, bro. I don't want emotes and stuff to come into Valorant. I would actually die if people start emoting mid-game. Imagine the jet winger to work.
I mean, imagine that happening, right? And then you're the one on the receiving end of it. Like a 12-year-old jet player just kills you during a swift play match and then does the emote on you.
Exactly, bro. I don't want that to happen, but nonetheless, what we do want to happen is this game to proceed, and it seems like Dieversity and Asterisk, they kind of set themselves up for success in this round as well. With one trades of each other in the initial start of the round, it seems like Dieversity moving on towards the C side can actually be a successful measure. They need to find the timing right, and this is where majority of their shortcomings have been for so far. One Tap God is going to clean up Caramel, which goes to show that the C side is completely up for grabs. Dieversity will get to plumb the spike, in fact quite comfortably so. And I wouldn't really be surprised if the 3 players from Asterisk do decide to go in for a save, because this round doesn't really have what it takes for them to go all in. What are your thoughts, though, Progressive?
I mean, possibly, but at the same time, knowing Asterisk as a team, it's all really dependent on that one kill now, isn't it? If Yash does find the opener, that's gonna be big for him. Stuns coming through, Relay Bolt also utilized. Kibojon's not gonna be able to do much. As Romeo in the perfect angle, they have everything under the wraps, and I'm pretty sure that your prediction's coming true for that one here, Salty, as they don't really have the weapons to try and take this fight against them, and Dieversity, they can take this round away for free. Good round indeed coming in from their side, because they understood what they really needed to do to try and take this victory for themselves, as Dieversity getting those early couple of frags just made Asterisk have a very weak overall setup. They're banking upon the fact that a couple of members will die trying to get into the side, and the fact that Dieversity won out on most of their engagements as they were trying to go in for such a rush. Asterisk just couldn't really hold on, and the rotations were really late for these fights.
Romeo this time, though, leading further. Dieversity will look to break that momentum as Som finds Caramel. One important sentinel has been brought down. Lit Boy needs to be very effective with those Viper utility. We need to stop this team dead on their tracks, but so far it seems like Dieversity have moved on further. They found the chink in the armor and once again flood themselves toward the seaside. Garage was really empty and they made use of it. But let's have Litboy and Rising. 2 quick kills and Yash follows up as well. All of a sudden the seaside becomes a death trap for Dieversity, chokes them to death. And all of a sudden the 5-round lead for Asterisk is back.
Members of Asterisk, they really do want that revenge scoreline up against the side of Chillcord here. Because don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the one game that we had on the first initial day of the quarterfinal stage was won out by the members of Chillcord. So they're still in that upper bracket, and they're the ones that set Asterisk down here. So for Asterisk, this is the sake of the revenge. You don't want to bow out of this tournament like this after losing against Chillcord here. So they're going to keep that energy up as they're still trying to be aggressive for this A side hit. They wanted A information and they're going to be able to gain it for certain. And with Little Boy holding on to this C side, it's not going to be an easy entry for them to take. With so many of the different openings that they still have to worry about. Dieversity now opting for a rotation in towards the C side, running into the waiting arms of that Viper. Yash up and ready to give his buddy back up as soon as he finds information. The hits coming in. Little Boy does take a little bit of damage, and now it's all about surviving for as long as they possibly can. Little Boy going in for a little bit of a jiggle over from the multiple sides. Risen comes in for the backup. It's going to be Little Boy still going in for the kills, but Romeo good for the taps here, but it's just not going to be enough because the Viper in the backup side didn't really run away. He just played it safe, waited for the time, played for it, and now with the last couple of players now falling as the Panda pretty much the last one alive to try and do something for his team. It's just not going to be enough. 6-12 on the scorecards as Asterisk on this defense just look like a completely different.
All of a sudden, when this team does find their crew, it seems like they are going to take it all away from the opposition. Dieversity eSports. Yes, it seems like there's no shortage of talent for this team, but when it actually comes to set plays and team experience, I think Asterisk have got their work cut out, especially on the map of Haven. Now, is this just a one-map wonder, or are we going to see a similar measure on the second map as well? This will definitely be a cause of concern. We'll find that out, but for now, once again, 6-12 the scoreline. Asterisk huddling up outside the B in the garage territory. One tap, God knows exactly there will be Caramel inside. And this duel has been going on for a while, though. Panda this time finds success. 2 of the players are down. But this happened on towards the A wing. As soon as they plant, Dieversity move in towards the post-man positions of the site, waiting for these players of Asterisk to pop in. Caramel, it's very hard for this lad to break open this site all by himself, especially when Som is doing so much out there. That kill was extremely crucial, but Caramel finds one. Does not find the second one though. And just like that, Dieversity eSports, they get their 7th round on board. Now, I like it when Dieversity always get their quick glance in and then just quickly move into their post-plant positions, always ready to defend their spike. What Asterisk was doing was to try and complicate it by moving around the map so much, from going from site to site, and I think that is not always important. This time though, with the 2 initiators, I think it's quite comfortable for them to get information in the first strike, try and make the waves in the second by using your flashes, and then just put your players in. Asterisk as well, and look at this. No players onto the C side, the ultimate being committed, absolutely nobody will be inside it. Asterisk do have that lockdown available. Do you think this retake will be made possible?
It's gonna be difficult, to say the very least, because it's all dependent on how this Hunter's Fury is gonna be utilized. Good God, the Hunter's Fury does find the kill, but instead, it's gonna be the members of Dieversity just running them down here. This is the problem with this composition. Those retakes are never going to be that simple, but if your players are able to find kills like this, maybe the simplicity does come through their raw mechanical skill. One after the other, they do fall, but Kimmel John's not gonna be able to do much as FNU comes in from the garage side to go in for that perfect backstab. As the members of Asterisk, they are now showing things in their armor, and those cracks are being fully stopped out by them. And wait, is this our Antidote who's actually coaching the side of Asterisk? It could be.
Damn.
It's Coach
Again.
Antidote.
Yeah, I mean, he has been in the scene for a while. He has been kind of mentoring teams, and he did tell me when he was retiring that, you know what, I'm still going to be in the scene, I'm still going to be relevant. It's just that I'm not going to be relevant as a player. It's interesting to find out if this is him.
I mean, it is him actually. I just checked it out, and I was in the Asterisk official Discord, and apparently Antidote is the coach for the team. Now, this is what I was really surprised about, that Antidote even found his own name here, because generally names like this are taken all the time, but pleasant surprise at the end of the day, as Dieversity now are gonna be shaking in their boots about what really happened in that last round, because taking a pause like this as soon as you lose out on 2 rounds is a very smart plan coming in from the coach too, because he understands that he cannot let this lead just slip away from their fingers even faster, and Dieversity need to be that first one to take that initial hit. Flash is already utilized to try and deter a lot of these pushes coming in towards the A side, as Yash now playing fully on those rotations, mid control established here already. They have all the information that they would want, that a C side hit is already coming through, but they again put all their eggs into one basket, and they have no one present in towards the C side. Dieversity, understanding this, are the ones to take this first initial duel here on towards the C side, knowing that this is the position that they will have the most problems with. Now being corralled in towards the corner, they have gone in for a little bit more of a split, opting for the rotations now to go in towards Garage instead. They want to do that split, but the thing is, you could have just gone in from C long. You have a weapon to try and take this fight, but instead, you want to push in from Garage and from Defender spawn? I don't know how I like this.
We don't know either, but Yash comes in with his electrical fingers, finds a Sova.
Okay, never mind, I take it back.
Sweeps across everyone! Asterisk. They're so good. 13 to 8 the scoreline, but the performance was even more dominating. It was a glittering comeback, especially when they were 4-1. I kind of felt like Dieversity might just be walking away with it, with the kind of struggles that they had to face initially. But then, just like you mentioned, I think when it's Coach Antidote, or rather Captain Antidote, or IGL Antidote, whatever you like to call him, this man, whenever he's on your side, you know that mentally and strategically you're always going to have that upper hand, you're always going to have that edge, and I think that is exactly what Asterisk rided on. And if they keep on riding the same momentum, I think they might just win the next map as well, possibly clean sweep Dieversity 2-0.
Absolutely. It's all really going to be dependent on that, ladies and gentlemen. The talent on the side of Dieversity, yeah, it's present, but it doesn't really mean that it's going to be over just yet. But as we are going to be seeing soon, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading on down over into a very short little break, because the players are gunning to get themselves in towards the next game. So we're going to be taking a very short one as well, and we're going to be back with you with a lot more action for the Intel Gamer Days. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the Intel Gamer Days Community Cup for Valorant. The lower bracket stage has already started off with the shebang here as the members of Asterisk, they take the first initial map away from Dieversity eSports. Now, is it a sad story? Yes. Is it really unexpected? No, especially with the first initial map being Haven as well. You could tell the team did a complete 180 flip as soon as that defensive side started to roll around, and the scoreboard is going to be able to paint that picture a lot more better than we can, because good God, was the setups coming in from Asterisk absolutely incredible to watch.
Totally right. I mean, when you play a double controller on a map like Haven, which is like supposedly one of the largest maps, I think you would never find any shortage of space. And that is exactly what we got to see. I mean, you've got the Viper wall, you've got the Omen smokes as well. Your Viper and Omen both actually played the best out of the 5 players, which shouldn't really be the case, but if it is, then there's no problem. Ryzen coming up with 21 frags of his own, just 12 deaths, and ACS of 271. Look at the ACS on Litboy. He's got 225 on himself, 18 kills, just 10 deaths. These two players single-handedly demolished the oppositions, but then you've also got Caramel, Kiwojon, and Yash also stepping up as well. The problem with Dieversity was that they did not really have that diversity when it actually came to attack and defenses. Yes, for sure, One Tap God was trying his best. Yes, for sure, you got Panda, F-Tube winning rounds for themselves as well, but I didn't really think that was enough, because once that lead was gone, Dieversity eSports could just never come back in this competition.
Yeah, there wasn't really a world where they're going to be able to find an advantage for themselves, as now they've pretty much set themselves a very good understanding of what's going to be happening next throughout this entire game. And with the map of Lotus, another 3-sided map coming forward, and possibly another double controller composition that they will probably utilize here, Asterisk, they're looking to be that team that can easily take this game away for their squad. And you can tell, looking at the ACS as well, that all of the players from the side of Asterisk, they're actively taking a lot of those fights. Kiwojon's not really taking a lot of those duels, yes, but the way he's setting up his team, especially with the utility of the recon bows, the shock darts, and sometimes even the Hunter's Fury, he's just giving them such a significant edge. And one of the bigger surprises has to be that Caramel, as a player, been a little bit quiet on this roster, but not in a bad way, because he's taken that much more of that anchor role for a fact that if Caramel's the last one alive, or if Caramel's the one to go in for a consistency with just his aim alone, gives them first opening kill that they need in most of the rounds, or that impact frag that you would expect from a player of his caliber whenever Asterisk needs it the most. And it's going to be even more important when it comes down to the map of Lotus, where those 3 sites, yeah, they do exist, but at the same time, understanding the timings of when you should take an entry or when you should lurk up to any different position, it's very important to see whether or not Asterisk are able to play the dynamics out well. A double controller is a lot more difficult than playing a double controller on Haze. Most know how to play a double controller, considering that's a very commonly used scrim strategy.
Yeah. And to be honest as well, and I think it's not just going to be double controller, it's also going to be a little bit of fade as well, possibly a little bit of neon from both the ends. But the MVP of the map, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be Ryzen from Asterisk, we during the stats as well. 21 kills, 12 deaths. They are of 193.8. Show that how consistent this man has been throughout the entire map itself. In spite of being on an Omen, in spite of being on an Asian, which is supposed to be playing a second fiddle to your Jet, to your Neon, to your duelists per se, right? Especially when it comes to those guns, still he not only was brilliant with his teleport, his ultimate, with his smokes, but also he was pretty good with his gun. So I think all in all, it was a performance from Rise. But ladies and gentlemen, seems like before we begin the map Lotus, there are a few conditions. And I think we'll check that and be back after a very short break. Don't go anywhere.
ladies and gentlemen, Gamer Days Valorant Community Cup as quarterfinal stages are finally taking off for map number 2. It's been a long break. The chick we're having some problem. When you're playing in the region of SA, power cuts are pretty much the norm here now, isn't it? Even if you're at a boot camp or even if you're back at home, you're not gonna be able to escape it. But you're gonna be, if you do get yourself an Intel-powered gaming laptop, ladies and gentlemen. All the links are down below if you want to get yourself a laptop at only 990 INR. These are prices, ladies and gentlemen. Discounts will not last forever. It's only up to the 7. Plus, in addition, you can get a no-cost EMI on select bank cards as well. All the links on the description if you want those. And hey, if to hear about the contest as well that Flipkart has, make sure to check that as well, because you can win gaming products up to the worth of 1.5 lakhs INR in Build Your Dream Setup Challenge by Flipkart. Flipkart is bringing the contest for you all in celebration of the days. You can enter 3 again, all of those steps listed below. It's gonna be a lot, so I'm gonna talk through it, but make sure you guys check it out instead. But what we do have for you on the map of Lotus is gonna be a little interesting. Good Asterisk, not going in for a double controller setup that this for, but instead a generic one. But Dieversity, they are picking up on the and the neon, so this will be quite the interesting affair.
It certainly will be quite the interesting affair. And one very interesting affair is that, ladies and gentlemen, if by any chance you guys want to win a choice of laptop and accessories, which is up toward 1.5 lakhs, there's actually a contest that we're hosting, that Flipkart is hosting as well. All the details will be in the description. But we did get to see the composition coming in from either side, and I want to know your thoughts. Do you think Dieversity eSports can get a comeback and possibly get the third map?
I mean, it's really dependent on whether or not Dieversity really know how to play the composition well, because I saw what it allows you to take a lot more aggressive duels generally that you wouldn't be able to do, like playing any other character in general. I would say you want to be that second in line or that first in line so that you can take aggro away from your teammates and then opt to go win that. And generally speaking, ISO as an agent does have that potential to just pick someone and completely take them out of the fight for a solid 10 seconds, right? That kill contract is easily the most underrated, and a lot of players don't really factor that in for a lot of their executions. But players really take ISO to its fullest degree. You're generally not you're not gonna be pressured to get you're utilizing that kill contract, because you're utilizing that kill contract. Take one player out of the equation, holding the side, that the side is completely empty, or maybe one player is just holding onto it because you have information as for. You use that kill to isolate that one side. So even if you do lose the duel, like supposedly, your teammates can still run in on the player as soon as they come out on track. It's this that make ISO such a very strong potent that he's seen that recent uprise in the meta. You're right, didn't get all the plethora of buffs that he did. He's a strong agent purely because of how his kill contract works. And recently, he ran those changes to make his kill contract a 7-point ultimate instead. And for a value, because that kill contract turned out to be one of the strongest ultimates in the entire, because you could isolate out one player, making the execute a lot more easier.
Well, we find out that it's actually going to be a lot easier. But for now, we're just waiting to actually step into the map of Lotus. We've seen a lot of Lotus already in this course of the part, and see if there will be some sort of differences. Generally speaking, the route of execution will still be the same. I think some teams will try and play the timing game, especially with the neon. You do have the breach as well. You've got the fade to give you all the information that you want. It's always about trying to be as quick as you possibly can, while the other team will play in that game of tug and pull. It just comes down to, just like you mentioned, who executes their strats well, who gets to play the compositions a little bit. But there's nothing which takes away from the performance which Asterisk has done in the front. Dieversity. I think if they come up with the same momentum, if one tap god decides to actually, the same socks that he actually was wearing in the map of Haven, shouldn't really be a problem. Just pull up your socks, hit your shots, and you're good to go. There is a significant kill gap, I believe, in between Dieversity and Asterisk with the way that they're playing, not just in terms of composition. Both the teams can hit their shots, but it's not just about hitting shots, is it?
It's not about the hitting shots only, it's also about understanding how to smash to its fullest caliber. Teams say that, hey, there's going to be small moments where you're not going to be able to find value. What do you do then? It's about adapting to your opponents, like giving information that you have, how you look, where your rotations are going to be heading towards. You want to go towards C, the rotation down over into mid. And it seems just like the orangutan is back in the casters, as he's making a little bit of a peepsy here, and it seems as though we have our third caster here.
Yeah, he was waiting for his chance, but yeah. Oh, he doesn't want to cast right now. He just wants to watch games at this point. He is so basically he's just barely peeping. He is saying that I want to come into the camera. I don't want to come into the camera. Oh, he just see. He just wants to watch the games because they are so interesting.
Absolutely. And I do believe that the game is going to start soon, though. Don't really worry about that. But you're gonna have to see how it's gonna be out. And it seems as though we're ahead of that it's gonna be the turn, ladies and gentlemen, for the game. And I'm really excited to see this all of Valorant working out in favor with the low coming in. And honestly, Valorant as a game that just revolves around having synergy with that Asterisk, having those set plays in mind from them on the initial map is into this one. Have them under their belt because of the difference that they had and the win that they were able to get, and what Dieversity are capable of as well. There's another change roster for the teams. See, is now back in towards the server. I kind of forgot to mention did last game, but now that he's back, the team's dynamic could just say dynamic shift.
And finds Caramel. It's a 4v3 right now. Dieversity. One by one, they for sure are falling, and it's the same man, Yash, who's doing all the heavy lifting. And it's not just Yash, it's also Ryzen. 3 kills from his end. Asterisk start on a good note. Down to nil, and Dieversity, they will once again start on the back foot.
Asterisk now for the overall setup, you can tell. Yeah. He's rest fight here already with the outlaw from hand present and ready. It's going. He will jump. Has the perfect flash to set up his utility. Not going to be expecting that just yet as Romeo. First in the line of contact here. It's hit. Ready necessary and coming out from them. Oh. Dexy. He's going to take a back seat here. Yash just being an insurmountable force. Has the ISO to deal with, but he jiggles out. He's going to be able to find the catch. Panda survive for long, and 1.5 members of Asterisk just those kills him jumping across. He's going to be able to get himself into a streak. Big timing for him, but they all are expecting it. Some good for a kill, but immediately gets answered back. Instead, able to find the old scoreline going in their favor, but on ISO completely sublime. They have the openers that they need, and the map of Lotus seemingly is their playground to play for. As Asterisk, their team synergy knows no bounds.
Oh, for sure. Look at this. But Yash, Ryzen, Kickball, they are all firing on all cylinders. As of yet, once again, we begin. An Asterisk is feeling so confident, especially in spite of not having the fullest of Yash. Manages to hit the shot. Meanwhile, Dieversity, though, on the other side, on towards A, they've actually found the opening and they've found the spike planted as well. But Keybon is not staying. As he gets Panda taken out of the picture, it's a 5v3 right now as Caramel also steps into the side. Vexy's quite low on HP, flashes in. Fate Utility giving away his position. Caramel is going to find another one for himself. It's systematic destruction, ladies and gentlemen, for Dieversity eSports. Yash had no clue where one tap god is. Did try his best, but keep on will take him. Always one tap god who is the man who is standing tall, but at all, Asterisk with 5 hungry players. They will panther upon Dieversity to destroy.
Panther. Makes me think of a character from a game that I really enjoy. But you know what game I love the most? It has to be Valorant, ladies and gentlemen. And hey, to play a game like it, just down in the description below. Check out Flipkart to get yourself a laptop. Go at the starting discounted price up till the 7th of September. So check it all out below. As Caramel, he's gonna be checking out the seaside. Not for the members of Dieversity, but it's gonna be on the opposite side of the map. Little boy getting a kill onto the Dieversity, and now this is things are going to get a lot more difficult. You lost out on your controller, and your friend are not going to have its own form of simplicity. Panda taking the front-sided fight. Here comes the Prowler to give you a little bit more space to play for. Caramel his bullets. Now, Panda does find the trade-off at the bare minimum, down over to a 3v3 situation with the map now opened up for them onto the seaside. Panda does have the spike to really play for and a weapon to go in for those kills, and John's going to be the one to first be the casualty for it. Yash still has the showstopper available to him, go in for the instantaneous hit. Picks up one player down over to a 1v1. They need to try and go in for this hit as quickly as they possibly can. Connect it. Yash is going to be the one to get it instead. Beautifully done here, one after the other. The members of Asterisk, they take this 2v2 down to the wire, and they will be the ones to go in for this win. Well played out round coming in from the members of Dieversity, but for Asterisk, they were not faced.
Once again, God, but then the trades were brilliant. This kill contract where Yash also won his fight. Risk. It's very hard for them to actually lose their composure right now. Every single one of their players are hitting their shots. Dieversity, we saw them in the rounds prior, but it seems like up against formidable opponents, it seems like this team also looking for a lead boy is gonna go and directly find himself a position. Romeo with the operator is gonna find two. Song is there. Dieversity hitting shots as they always used to. And this time Kibon is gonna find two. Cast player in a 1v3 situation. Dieversity have the site wide open for themselves, aggressive.
That wide open sight line. So they're gonna be playing for Asterisk now. Spot here. Caramel. Time in and time out. He is one of those players that can really make that difference. Down over to 1v2, but immediately Romeo with this one off. It's always going to be an able to deal with. The chamber has its strengths. But on the map of Lotus, those strengths are amplified to its fullest degree. Som, you can tell that his position wasn't really the best, but the fact that Kibo John couldn't go in for another kill here really just put them in a very detrimental situation. It already came down to the Breach surviving in that fight. But for the members of Asterisk, it's completely fine and dandy because losing out on one round is not really going to be affecting them as much. Their economy is still up for both, but for Romeo, as long as he has that one op in his hands, any form of a peek that you would want to take for these over-aggressive angles is simple for you. They do have a lot of control on the B side. No one's really playing close to the doorway this time around to try and pincer the players in the C side as well, so it's going to be quite questionable to see where they're going to go with this one. As Yash, he hears the sounds and he hears the calls from his teammates, but he still doesn't want to play on the outskirts of B. He has one of these players could be lurking on that angle. But surely enough, Romeo sitting there with an op, expecting one of their players to come towards the door side pincer.
I think they're not. I think they're just expecting these players to just drop in their cross one by one. And the way they are getting their kills, it seems like it's going to be very hard for Dieversity to mount any sort of momentum for themselves. 1 or 2 off rounds for sure is what they'll get. But unless one tap god shows heroics like this, it will be very hard to even counter any attack coming through. Pain Shell is almost perfect. One tap god escapes at 50 HP. And look at that. One by one, he'll be forced out of that angle. He still managed to connect on to keep on, but that's it. Dieversity eSports lose yet another round in Asterisk to get their momentum back. They want to finish this as quickly as possible. 3 doesn't even look like best of 3 anymore. It seems to be like a beating from Asterisk onto a Dieversity, and there's absolutely nothing that this team can do currently.
It's technically one of the maps as well, so it's not that big of to have a really good showing on this particular one. Their set plays and strategies for this map has gotten a lot more better over the time, and knowing Asterisk as a team, they are not going to be making any mistakes moving forward either. Dieversity now looking at gauges for a lot of these fights, as they lost out on a lot of rounds, and the thing is, they don't really have the utility to try and give them a lot of those openers that they need. Generally, you want to ISO with a Euro because the Euro flashes are able to facilitate a lot of your plays, but instead Asterisk just doesn't really care whatsoever. The only thing the ISO will worry about is just kill contract comes online, but if he doesn't have that, it's not gonna be as potent. But slipping in through the crack, there's already in towards the seaside, and poor old Karamo none the wiser for it. Being short has its advantages, it seems. Is Karamo? Let's get caught out by it. Down over to a 3v4 situation as the player is right now working their way in towards the corners of this way. The spikes now rotating in the side as well. And the calls are going to be coming in, and the spike has yet to be planted. They need to go in for the kill, and yes, they do. They're going to be able to find even more than one. It's going to be another big play coming in from the back lines. It's now Dieversity find the closure needed. To the force already utilized, given away field, and now they're gonna try to go in for the head in towards the back. He has a perfect timing for the kill, and look at the ice of these spikes. Yash, he doesn't overswing on the angle whatsoever. He's to the force, waited for a CME to go in for a flash, and then they went in for that optimum pencil boy coming in from the back. Asterisk, they have the entire map under lockdown, even when it comes down to this.
I know that, right? I mean, they're playing beautifully off each other's backs, and when there's such amazing coordination between your players going on, there's absolutely nothing that the opposition can do. One tap God Panda, they still are trying to get their kills, but it's just about the duels. It's also about crew plays that you manage to get. This time as well, Dieversity eSports, they get themselves a quick control off towards that A side, but Asterisk actually has some other plans. They're coming in from the back. They will move in towards B and potentially try and make their way towards the doors itself. Players from the back of the lines, it's a backstab with the chamber, will try and stop a Romeo fall as well, which means Som is going to be in a prime position. Som and Panda stitch up 3 kills of themselves. Asterisk in a 2v3 right now. The ultimate comes through Vexy, and one tap god will be marked as Ryzen. It is time for him to rise to the party and show us what he's capable of. Little boy knows that it's the B-side Vex. He's holding onto the position. 2 players coming out. He gets 1. Little boy gets 2 of his own. Third! Almost there. God will find the Dieversity eSports win themselves, but this is all that they can actually do for. This is appreciable. This is good stuff, to be honest. This is valiant from Dieversity eSports. As long as they can get rounds for themselves, it does not matter how you play or how they get those rounds. It's all about trying to keep yourself alive in the game and trying to hit as hard as you can. Look at the micro plays, right? Once again, you have the beacon utility. You did not have to peek. The timing was like a fraction of a second off, but apart from that, it was just beautiful. Hawk has been destroyed, but so has been Dieversity
Out.
and their hopes of an attack. Caramel, the Guardian, one tap, stabs Romeo in. Another one onto a
Nice.
one tap goal. Fourth one onto. It's a Caramel ace.
He knows. He knows.
Yes, onto Pan as they move to an ace. What an round from Caramel.
He gave this man a guardian in his hand, the guardian of the entire server, ladies and gentlemen. Karam Sentinel, the backbone for any team that he plays for. His aim is what every others to go up against. And knowing Dieversity as the team, they're the ones shaking in their boots now after a round like that. Karam asserting his fullest. And here is where the game is now gonna take a turn for the members of Dieversity. The headhunter tries to just scare Karam a little bit here, but he has a steel prison set up on the seaside, so it doesn't matter where they come, they're instantly gonna get put to a stop.
Ryzen, flying stand up. A lot of that on this team so far right now. Dieversity, their economy is in shambles as the rocket launches. Takes out 2 with him as well. Caramel is gonna find Romeo. H2 the scoreline slowly and steadily for sure. Asterisk, they are mounting on a lead which might shudder the hearts of Dieversity eSports and their players. A 6-round lead with no Dieversity as of yet. Absolute nothing from their side, and this time the Rolling Thunder is there, which means that no matter where Dieversity decide to approach from, Asterisk and Crash can take that attack to shambles. This time Caramel sets himself up on that A side, will once again face a wrath of 5 players, but he likes the ambush on towards him. The door has been blocked, the Rolling Thunder has been established, Ultimate has been launched as this team waits for the first contact. Too many players in this vicinity. Caramel finds one. You can see the kill feed. Go boom! Caramel, he gets his second kill of course, but he gets stunned. But that is okay because his teammates do find the trade. It's all going in the favor of Asterisk as we finally find ourselves in a 1v3.
Look at the Omen.
Saw had no option but to run away to the seaside, get the spike planted, but that is all that I believe he can do. He needs to isolate the fight, but he finds himself in front of a little boy. Not so little, and of course, a little of teabagging is always right. It's an Omen versus Omen, it's a battle of character, it's also a battle of intention. We go back to spamming that ragdoll while the spike gets to feel like it, Asterisk. Not just playing in for the moolah, but also playing in for a statement.
Absolutely. This is how Asterisk plays, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely no prisoners here from the start all the way up till the very end, ladies and gentlemen. This is the game of Valorant for you from the start up till the very end. You need to assert the dominant server in the round and also after the round as well. But what will not be the expected caliber for a lot of these games will be how the entirety of Asterisk are really gonna be playing, because they've been very reliant on just countering their opponents purely on the basis of raw mechanical skill. Like Karamel single-handedly shutting down 5 players by himself, and then in this particular round he shut down 3 players as they were rushing in towards the side. 1, 2, he was being bombarded by 3 different forms of utility. No care in the entire world. I own this server and this is my place of reality. I will take you out in every turn that you take, and it doesn't matter even if you throw the kitchen sink at me, I will still take someone with me before I die.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I didn't actually know Caramel was that good of an aimer, to be honest, because the last time I saw him, yes, for sure, he was impactful. He was, for sure, one of the key players. But then in the Tier 1 circuit, I think Caramel was yet to establish himself as one of the best. But here, the way I see him play, it's It's not just about it's his raw aim, it's also about his accuracy, it's also about his positioning as well. Every single round, sometimes he becomes a threat on towards the C side, at times he becomes a threat on towards the A side. It's just this man who is feeling himself and is probably in the best of form, probably in his best shape of his life as well. So when you've got players like that, you've got to route your aggression. I'm talking about Diversity esports. When you've got players like that in your opposition, all you've got to do is route your aggression around those players, not try to hit him directly, but try to hit everywhere but him. And I think that is the reason where they are falling. It's not their fault, especially with Caramel being so quick on his feet, rotating from side to side so quickly, varying his attacks and his defenses so well. But I feel like Team Diversity Esports will have to find a response to it, will have to find an antidote to him, quote unquote, antidote to him, because otherwise there's no way, man. I think we're looking at a very dominating affair from Asterisk Esports, and there will be no way to stop them.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult round for them to take a victory up against this squad, but never say never is something that a lot of players will still say. They have yet to see the brimstone start to sting in the background, but with the one more round left, try and take this victory. And for this first initial half to end, I do believe that the players are having a slight bit of difficulties on their side. We're going to see how that's going to be going. We have no information on what really happened in towards the server just yet, and I do believe that hopefully Asterisk didn't really have another power cut situation where their players have been jumping on back in towards the game. Should be coming in soon for their side, but what I'm really excited to see is a little bit of a change up in their overall strat play coming in from the members of Diversity here, because Diversity, these last couple of rounds, they've been a little bit more lax in the way that they've been utilizing utility. They're a bit lost on what to do without that reach. You can tell too, because Panda, he should to farm a lot of orbs. If you're going to be using Panda as one of your big win conditions, I want to see him at least farm the orbs on the C side and on towards A as well, actively throughout the entire game, because contract will be crucial for you to get a lot of those round victories. Yeah, you're not going to have the kill contract available in every single round that you do play, but if you cycle those orbs for him, if he's just able to get a lot of active kills from time to time, one good kill contract can give you a free side play every single time, especially when you have a Neon on your team to really fill in those gaps that one player generally leaves out. And knowing all of this, the members of Asterisk now need to just close things out as quickly as they can, because Diversity have already given away so many of these. It's gonna be hard to break through these lines, and it seems as though they're expecting it, jumping around, having fun. As Diversity, I do think that they've just given up.
Wow, that was quick. It seems like every round is quick. There's nothing you can do. If you're Diversity Esports, you would die too.
Time to go to India's Got Talent. Salty, not here.
Bro, I just made a song on the fly. How was it?
As I said, time to go to
Do you
India's Got Talent.
Yeah. No, I would compete in Bangladesh Got Talent, bro, with my brother on my side.
Oh god, of course. But what's not going to be on the side of Diversity is a round scoreline for them. 2 is a brutal scoreline for them to one back from. It's Caramel. He's just chilling in the corner. Look at how aggressive he is. They know that the A side's fully taken over, but Caramel's still hitting these shots. He's going to keep on going. A little bit of a tough spot for him, but Panda! Oh my god, how many shots did you miss? Yosh just sent a message. He just jiggled around and poor old Panda wasn't able to get that kill onto him, but Chmochot's going to be the one dead. He was jumping across it. He's going to be fodder for it. Romeo now with just Jordy in his hand, not really a teleport into. Well, it's the worst situation that you could ever be in, because you need to jump out, take that fight, and possibly find 2 kills with 2 headhunter bullets. It is not gonna be that simple. One already utilized. He's looking for the second. Already caught out on an island. There's nothing really much that you could have done to turn that one around. It's not his turn. Step up to the table. Good for maybe one kill. Not even that. Two on the scorecards as Asterisk. They are taking this entire game by storm.
Well, I think it's just a matter of time before we actually end up on the finishing side of this best of 3, ladies and gentlemen. Asterisk completely taking this game to their side. It's like one-way traffic at this point. Dieversity eSports. There's absolutely nothing that they can do. One more round, possibly towards match point as well, ladies and gentlemen. Vexy and others, they are going to rush through. Asterisk this time pushing in toward the C side. One smoke to stop them at this point. But I don't think Asterisk will have any problem. The reveal is there. The hawk has been planted. The paranoia and the flashes from the breach can be useful for sure, but can Romeo do anything at this point is my question. No way! Yes! He finds one. Keyboard shuts down Storm as well. And look at this, one tap god finds a couple of kills, but Dieversity with just one player standing, one tap god. How long can he hold on to his own accord? How long will he be able to hold on to Dieversity eSports and their sinking ship? This man did try to keep up the mantle, but right now, especially with the way Asterisk has been moving, I think it will be extremely tough. Expecting the smoke to dissipate, but Lil Boy is going to shut him down. That is match point for Asterisk. The second much more dominating than the first. And we're just one round away before Asterisk seals the victory.
For Asterisk, just another day in office for them. This map easily one of their best here. For Dieversity, they've just kind of given up in their overall approach. They do have a little bit more of a buy going for them, but it's not that simple. They need to go in quite quick here. Already the players are falling. The first one to take a back seat on the left side is another spotted. Panda's going to be able to find a kill. Panda's going to be able to find a second. Never mind. Maybe there is a chance for second towards this round. It's all dependent on whether or not Panda survives. He's not going to be the one to do it. And it's all up to Romeo. Over on the opposite side of the map, he's making a full beeline sprint to try and save his buddies here on the but that's just not gonna be. He will not survive this one anytime soon because this player is still alive and kicking to try and go up. They go. His work cut out for him to win this fairy tale.
One v 3 right now. Possibly the last fight. Romeo still holding on to this side. Wanting to go in for the defuse with 3 hungry wolves. Waiting to pound this man. Find the first one. Little boy gets shut down. 1v2 gets caught. Right, he's in. Wants to feed onto his kill and he does it. Asterisk seal the victory for themselves, and they for sure are the victors, not just with name, but also with the game as well. What a game it was. What a way to dominate a match of Valorant.
Absolutely. This is what you're here to see, ladies and gentlemen. This is why here at the eSports Club, the tournaments never stop and the action just keeps on mounting. The members of Asterisk really showcasing to us what good practice, and of course, a lot of scrims can do for you. And you can tell a lot of their strat plays, especially when it comes down to the synergy that they have as well, especially between Bojan and Risen, was just absolutely beautiful to watch. Every single time you see a Fade utility come on through, every single time you see a Fade utilized, there's always a breach stun coming in right after that, not before. It's the small stuff. Like, think about it. None of the utility being utilized by the members of Asterisk was really put to waste. They always were able to be like that, hey, I have a Prowler, I got some information, I used my Fade Hound, I know exactly where the opponents are, and they were the ones to really utilize their strong ability to go in for these kind of executions. It's stuff like this that will, of course, paint a better picture for them. But as we get the stats prepped and ready here later, we're going to be going into a very short little break because we're going to be right back with that. And we're gonna close things off for this first initial game as match number two is gonna be coming in soon. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the Intel Gamer Days Valorant Community Cup. We have the statistics ready to close out game number one, and I'm really excited to bring you all of that one because, honestly speaking, for map, it's been a show of Karamo, right? 320 ACS to this man's name. He got the ace. He got all of the series for the team. But honestly, it just wasn't a show for him. It was a show for every single player on his roster. Yash as well had star level performances. Kibo John was a perfect support. Little Boy came in strong. All the Force Risen and the combination that they had between the Breach and the Fade was just something to write home about. Dieversity, they really strong showing from the side of Panda, but honestly, Salty, everyone else just kind of fell short.
Yeah, man. Everyone else fell short, and this game was actually not even lasting that long. One Tap God did try his best. Panda and One Tap God, I believe, were the only ones who could actually duel against all 5 players of Asterisk in a 1v1. But apart from that, Som, Romeo, and Vexy, even if they are capable of taking those shots, I think today was not their day. And again, if a team is not mechanically matched, then there's no way they are going to outstract the opposition. But look at this, MVP Caramel for Team Asterisk. This map for itself was really great for him. I mean, look at the stats: 17 kills, 9 deaths, 320 ACS. Insane statistics for a man who was always, I believe, in the shadows in the tier 1 circuit when he actually played, but now it is possibly his redemption arc, and he's definitely showing us what he is capable of with the 40.62% headshot percentage. That is insane. We saw that ace, which consisted of 5 shots and 5 headshots itself, which was brilliant. But let's give it up to the MVP of the match, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Ryzen from Team Asterisk again, with a total of 33 kills and 18 deaths. Once again, a very good positive KD ratio, but an average combat score of almost 250 just goes to show that he was impactful every single round.
Absolutely. Let's see coming in from of his caliber. The fact that Risen takes this cake for himself, being on that supportive role, just goes to show that all the members of Asterisk just are reliant on these support players to really give them that significant of an edge. When you have such a good anchor on your team in the likes of Caramel, you have as well on your lineup with Yash. There's so many different things that you can do as a team. And in this lower bracket run, you're gonna need to bow out to the members of Dieversity because they just didn't have it in them to take this victory. They had a long road ahead of them, and that long road does now come to an end. While the members of Asterisk can still push on forward, and just like us, we need to push on forward in towards our next game, ladies and gentlemen, which will be Zero Frags going up against Team EXO, a possible 3-set series that could just go in for map number 3. You never really know, but for now, as we are going to be heading on down over into our play, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back with you soon enough with the second BO3 series for the day. Make sure to check out all the links down below the description, and also hit that like, hit that notification bell, and also hit that subscribe button as well down below. But for now, it's going to be your boy Aggressive with Salty signing on off, and we're going to be back with you real shortly with the Intel Gamer Days Valorant Community Cup. So, wait.